Dear Mr. Sam.
Mr. Sam.
I hope this email finds you well. My name is Nasser and I am from a small country located in the Middle East called Kuwait.
Kuwait, we hear about that a lot in the news.
First of all, I would like to thank you and Mr. Lee for your major contributions in regards to bodybuilding. I really enjoy watching your channel and I'm a big fan of Mr. Lee. Currently, I'm located in Brisbane as an international student and I really want to thank Lee in person since he talked about Syria with an open mind. Second, the situation is bad, beyond your wildest dreams. Nobody would understand how things are going there except Syrians or the people who are trying to deliver the food or money to them. From our countries, we send aid and we are trying to do our best. In the end, it is all politics. Most of the aid are going through Turkey, but many are stolen by either ISIS members or Russian/Iranian militias. I believe Lee read about the situation and he understood both perceptions, Assad supporters and revolutionaries. Speaking about such topics requires a man with wisdom and common sense. Lee had such a character for sure. Please send him my regards and tell him that you have many supporters in our region. People would wear shirts holding his name or picture on them. If I am allowed, and I thought because he's such a nice bloke that I'll happily do this for him, I would like to ask 3 questions. And I hope he would, as a humble champ, answer it in one of his videos. What is his opinion on the latest Melbourne Arnold Classic? Any comments on the winners?
I didn't really watch it, so I can't really comment, Nasser, but thank you for your email. It's very nice, and yes, no one understands what's going on in those countries unless you actually live there and be there. What we see is generally from the news feeds, which can be biased and one-sided, but like in any war, there's always 2 sides to a story. Yes, you can have the extremists and that, but who are killing innocents, and then you can have the armies from America and Australia fighting the extremists, but generally the extremists sadly become that way due to being pushed by the government so far that they fight back because they feel like they've got nothing else to lose. So, in one way, governments make these extremists and make these terrorists, so there needs to become a level playing field where they need to sit down and talk and hash out whatever's going on and try and settle it, because wars don't settle it. Killing each other doesn't settle anything. All it does is kill people back and forth and no one wins in the end. So, but to your question about the Arnold Classic, I didn't really watch it, so I can't really comment on the winners or who won. Who did win the Australian Arnold, was it? Sam doesn't even know, so sorry I didn't watch it, but all I know is Tony puts on a great show. Since he's been doing the Australian Pro Show, which he's now turned into the Arnold Classic, I've said it before that the shows Tony Doherty puts on in Melbourne are probably some of the best run pro shows in the world, apart from the Arnold Classic in America. It's far better than the Olympia and a lot of the other pro shows, because Tony actually cares about the athletes, puts on a good spread, takes care of them from the moment they get off the't to their accommodation, to making sure they're catered to food-wise, anything they need. So for that, Tony does a great job. So the Australian Classic show is probably one of the best run shows out there. So I highly recommend that any person in America or around the world wanting to do a great show where you're actually treated like a professional. I know it's a long way to come to Australia, but trust me, come to Australia, do Tony Doherty's Arnold Classic Pro Show. You'll be treated like a professional, and trust me, the fans in Australia will love you. So I know you can think it's a long way to go down here, but trust me, the bodybuilding people all around the world, the professionals and amateurs, Australian people love bodybuilding, and like I said, you come to one of Tony's shows, you'll feel like you've been treated like a king and queen. So I highly recommend anyone thinking about doing a pro show to put Tony Doherty's Australian show on your calendar to come down and do it.
Yeah, and look, we used to go down there and set up a stand, and the last year I did it was when my son was 10 months old, and then the only reason why we stopped doing it is because we had the twins, and I've been chasing my tail every year, but it was one of the best road trips. We'd go down there, set up the stand, and Tony would look after the sponsors.
The expo's great. Yeah, like you said, he takes care of everything from like the expos to the competitors, but also like the fans. He makes it so just you, your mum, your dad, your brother, sister, anyone who's a fan of bodybuilding goes to the show, and you actually get treated to an experience, whether it be at the expo, whether it be at the contest, whether it be at the after party, whatever. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, people travel around the world to go see the Olympia. The Olympia can be, politically this and that and whatever and that sort of thing. And sure, it's got the name, but, the Arnold Classic in America, I'd put on my calendar, and I'd put on the Arnold Classic in Australia for a top show to come and watch and support. So there you go.
Well, even if you're new to bodybuilding, I remember the one.
That's going to throw people now who say I'm negative towards the IFBB and everyone, isn't it? Because no, if the IFBB does great things, I'm all for praise, and Tony's done nothing but put on great shows and treat the competitors with respect and put on great shows and that. So like I said, every competitor's come to Australia and competed for Tony and gone to his gym and gone to the expos, and then he'll organise some seminars for them and stuff. They've all had a great time. All the people I know have gone to watch the show have all had a great time. So yes, if you want to see a great show, come to the Australian Arnold Classic put on by Tony Doherty. I recommend it.
Yeah, and it's one bodybuilding show that's not boring.
No, it's always entertaining and lots going on. So
yeah, no, we'll have to get down there. Now the second part of his question was, if you're seeing someone's physique, what body part usually catches your attention? Chest, legs, etc.?
Generally, if I'm looking at someone's physique, if they're a bodybuilder, I generally look at the overall package, proportion-wise, arms, legs, chest, back, just like the symmetry, the wider shoulders, small waist, and then like the hourglass type thing. But generally, if you look at someone and they've got a bigger chest or bigger arms or their legs are overdeveloped, sure, your eyes are going to be drawn to that area where I know some guys where their legs are just incredible in the upper body. They might have the legs of a heavyweight, but the upper body of a lightweight. So in that case, your eyes are going to be drawn to the bigger body part. But generally, overall, if you're looking at someone's physique to judge them or critique them, you try and take everything into account. Shoulders, like I said, shoulders, arms, chest, back, legs, and see how it all flows. Generally, like I said, someone might have a body part that develops more than the other. So, as I said, you just got to train hard, and hopefully the other body parts will catch up. But if not, hey, don't worry about it. You might be known for having freaky arms or legs or something. So just keep training hard.
Yeah. And the last part of NASA's question was, have you ever thought about visiting the region?
The region of Kuwait,
Middle East. Yeah.
I've been to Brisbane. I used to live in Brisbane. Nice place. Not really. I haven't really been asked. I remember one NABA guy, I think he was with the Iranian bodybuilding team, wanted me to go over there, but he said if there were certain parts I went to, I'd have to cover up the tattoo on my face and stuff. So I figured I wouldn't go, just because that's not me being me. If I can't be myself, I don't want to have to cover up who I am and cover up my tattoos and stuff on my face. So yeah, it's hard to say. It's like I said, I could go over there and be loved by some and kidnapped by others. So I might end up on one of those videos with a guy in orange jumpsuit and someone standing behind me. So no, I said I wouldn't mind going, but I know, like I said, in Kuwait, it's pretty big over there. A lot of the other bodybuilders like Ruli and them have been going over there to Dubai, I think, in some place like that, where they got is it Oxygen Gym?
Yeah, NASA mentioned that gym in his.
So I think, like I said, bodybuilding looks like it's becoming really big over there. A lot of the guys that have been going there have been making good size gains, and people say, oh, it's maybe the drugs, is that? But I think it's just one of those places now where it could be like the new Mecca, where back in the day everyone went to Gold's Gym, and as soon as you got there, just the atmosphere, you trained harder.
Hey, Mecca, that was pretty funny.
In Mecca. Not that type of Mecca. You don't have to face it. Yeah, so it's like you go over there, you train harder, you eat well, so you just made gains just from the whole atmosphere. So I think now people are going to those big gyms over there where the Kuwaiti, whoever's over there who runs the gym, and that those sort of people are, like I said, anything they need, whether it be supplement-wise, gym-wise, food-wise, they get it for them. So all they have to do is concentrate on their training. They don't have to worry about anything else. So, and if you can do that, you can make great gains. So, people say it's the drugs, it's not the drugs. It's just, like I said, the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
If you can do nothing but sleep, eat and train and just focus on that, then of course you're going to make gains and be better for it.
Well, I guess it's like the using the Olympics as an example, you look at the times that they're doing now, and you go, oh, how on earth do they keep beating it? But it's just competition, and if you've got all the good athletes competing or working with each other and together,
it's going to strive to become better and better. Like I said, that's what I always say when people say, well, who was better, Arnold or Ronnie Coleman or this or that? But it's like I've always said, if Arnold was around in this era, he'd probably still be Mr. Olympia. Sure, you can look at him back then and say, well, look at him, how he was in the 70s to now, but he wouldn't look like that if he was here now, because he would train accordingly to how he had to look today. And just with his work ethic and his mindset and just that determination he had, he would still be a champion today. If he was born like in the 70s or 80s and he was training for bodybuilding today, he would end up being Mr. Olympia just due to that whole mindset and work ethic he's got and genetics and stuff like that. Like I said, but back in the day, he had to be as good as he could be, and he was. So if he was born, like I said, in the 80s now, he'd still win the Olympia now because he'd be training against those guys, so he'd, be as good as them, if not better. So like I said, it's all relevant to that time and period of the year you're competing in. I said, you only have to be as good as the next best guy you got to beat, so, no use Arnold looking like Ronnie Coleman back in the 70s if he didn't have to, is there? So.
Yeah. Oh, well, you would have got marked down. Probably.
Too big.
Yeah, well, couldn't do a vacuum and...
No, so yeah, but like I said, if he was around competing today, Arnold would still be Mr. Olympia because, like I said, he wouldn't look like the Arnold back in the 70s or that. He'd look like a new version of him today because he would have changed his training probably, his whole style of that, eating, supplement-wise would have been a bit different. So yeah, he'd still be Mr. Olympia if he was around today competing.
Well, a big thanks to NASA.
Thank you, NASA. Hope you like Brisbane. I used to like Brisbane, a great city.
And a lot of people put shit on, a lot of Americans and Australians put shit on people from that area and those sort of places, and it just shows you what a gentleman NASA is, and
like you probably find that 98% of people are like NASA from those areas. It's just that, like I said, they get tarred with that brush when someone says you're from Kuwait, or if even people say they're Muslim, they get tarred with, oh, Muslims are bad people. But like I said, it's just the extremists. But it's like that in anything. It only takes one or two bad apples to ruin it for everyone, no matter what race you are, person you are, religion you are. It only takes one or two. And like I said, people always remember the bad shit, not the good shit. So, like I said, thank you for your email, NASA.
Thanks, NASA.